Well, hello my fine gardening friends. How the devil are you? It's the 1st of May. Can you actually believe we're nearly halfway through 2022? 5 months, well 4 months down. I can't believe we're in the 5th month, but here we are. Welcome to my greenhouse after that outrush of joy at being halfway in disbelief of the year. But welcome to my greenhouse, welcome to my channel, The Optimistic Gardener. My name is Steve Farley, if you don't know me already. I am the Optimistic Gardener, a very optimistic gardener as well. You've got to be an optimistic gardener to garden in Nova Scotia, that's for sure. And I'm optimistic for some warmer weather now. It's lovely and warm here in the greenhouse. It's a bit chilly outside actually, which is why I'm in here planting away. Lots of things are growing strongly here in the greenhouse. I've got the tomatoes there, as you can see, peppers towards the end there. Down here in my central bed I've got lots of bits and bobs growing, some spinach and lettuce in the bed itself, some peas nearly ready to go out actually in their little toilet rolls, and all sorts of other bits and bobs. But we are the 1st of May, so we should be thinking about some of the different seeds that we want to sow that we haven't been able to sow yet, because really too early, especially here in Nova Scotia. Don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I've planted tomatoes and peppers just because they take, they've got a longer growing season, and things like onions and beetroots, that can go out early. But now's the time to be thinking about your real warm summer loving plants like your cucurbits from the cucurbit family, or Cucurbitaceae family, whatever the actual long word is, and they're things like your pumpkins, cucumbers, squash, all things like that. What would I say? Courgettes. What would you call courgettes? I cannot think. What do we call courgettes in North America? I'll come back to that. But anyway, all those different cukey ones, that real heat loving, water loving as well plants, real hungry plants, we can start planting them this month here in Nova Scotia anyway, in your sort of northern climes, inside, not outside. Now you could have planted them earlier, but they'll just be hanging about in your greenhouse in pots, really wanting to get outside, because they don't do well in the cold. You can plant them out or sow seeds now, but they won't really do anything, and they'll probably get eaten by mice if you're planting them or sowing them outside. So if you're going to sow outside and you've got a long growing season, wait till sort of the start of June really, I would. But inside now we can plant, sort of indirect plant our cucumber type plants, all of those pumpkins, etc. I would sow them myself. If you've got a nice deepish sort of tray like this, I would plant them in your single bits. Other than that, I'd just get some nice pots actually and plant a couple of seeds of your pumpkins and things like that in one of these pots, and then discard one of them once they get going. So there's your cucumber type plants, pumpkins, etc. And they'll grow on, and then I wouldn't plant them out really until towards the end of June here, because again you can plant them out but they'll just hang about with the right hump, as we say in England, sulking until the real warm weather comes. So sow them now, keep them inside in a greenhouse, etc., or a south facing window until the middle of June, towards the end of June even, till it really starts to warm up, and then you can get those out. But we can start sowing those seeds anyway. What else we got? All my beans. So I've been planting my bush beans, sowing my bush beans here now. So beans and peas, etc., they like a nice long root run. So I've got, for the bush beans, I've got these sort of quite deep trays, but for my climbing beans, So every Englishman likes his scarlet runner beans. We've always got to have them in our garden. Absolutely beautiful flowers, and the real bonus is hummingbirds absolutely love them. Love the flowers, and it's lovely to go out there in the mornings in the summer and see the little hummingbirds buzzing around the runner bean flowers later on in the summer. But they like a nice root run, so I've got these. I'm going to plant them in these, and I'm going to do a video actually on sowing my beans, etc. after this, actually, as it happens. But I've got these long root runners here. They're a bit fiddly, these ones, because they sort of come apart, which is why I've got these plastic bands. But I salvaged them from the roadside from someone that was ditching a load of plastic pots, etc. So it'd be rude not to. And I've got my usual sort of these are longer than toilet rolls. They're kitchen roll things cut in half. Again, nice long root run. They'll love these. So all your different climbing beans, or pole beans, whatever you want to call them, and your bush beans, you can plant them, sow them inside now, and really sort of after the halfway point of May, sort of maybe 10 days before the end of June, plant them outside. Really, you want to be thinking about just before the last frosts are coming, you can sow the seeds, because then if you know that there's any frosts coming and the seeds have actually germinated, you can cover them with some sort of cloche or horticultural fleece or something like that. Give them a little bit of protection, but you won't have to do it for very long. So that's good. And again, they won't really get going until the warmth gets to them. Nice and hungry, lots of water, etc. But they really like the warmth to really get themselves going. So there's no point, again, really getting ahead of yourself on things like that and planting them outside. So that's all your climbing beans. You can continue now. You can start sowing outside now. Rocket or arugula, as we say here in North America. Lots of different lettuce. Start to be thinking about. Well, in fact, we're early now anyway, so you can plant outside all sorts of different lettuce, and they'll germinate quite quickly now with the longer days, etc. Basil. So basil, you want to start sowing that inside now. Now, again, basil loves the warmth, so there's no point getting ahead of yourselves and planting them outside or anything. You can sow seeds outside towards the end of the month, but really I would go for a little pot like this. There's some purple basil, and I sowed this a couple of weeks ago, but it's not really, they're not really gone that far because it's not that warm. So if I'd have planted or sowed these inside and sowed them and kept them inside, maybe in the kitchen, they would have grown on a bit. But again, these like the warmth, so I'll be potting these up in the next week or so into bigger pots to give them a chance to grow on. But all your different basils now, sow them inside in pots, and they'll start to appreciate the warmth now as it's and the longer days, etc., of beautiful sunshine, hopefully. What else have we got? Peas. You can continue to sow peas outside up to the end of the month, and parsnips, carrots, beetroot, all that sort of stuff can be sown outside now. Well, you wouldn't sow it indoors anyway, because those sort of plants prefer to be direct sown. What else have I got on my little list here that we should be sowing? All your different perennials, obviously. Sweet peas. Where's my sweet peas? So I've got a little pot of sweet peas here. I need to sow a load more than this because I love sweet peas. But you can start sowing those outside now, and they'll germinate, and again, as it warms up, they will grow quickly. And you want to sow them up to the sort of end of the month. And all your different perennials you can just sow outside now. Although I would I? Yes, you can sow cosmos, things like that, outside now. And again, they won't germinate till it warms up a little bit. But there we go. So, was there anything I've missed there? I mean, basically, you can sow all sorts now. But you know, the important ones this month are your cucurbits, cucumbers, pumpkins, squashes, all your different beans, etc. They will love being sown inside, and they will quickly germinate. You can grow them on and then plant them out sometime after the last frosts, and they will soon get going as the heat gets going. Hopefully the heat gets going. There we go. That is your seeds to sow in May. I still can't believe it. Nearly halfway through the year. Ridiculous. Well, there we go. Job's a good one.